Now, that's where the base is, I would say, right where headquarters is. And very, very high-risk inmates are there. These ones are put in the bottom, so to speak. That's a level 3 camp. And majority of those men don't get programmed. They lock down for 23 and 1. They come out 2 times a week for showers and for recreation activities. And these 2 times they come out is only 1 hour at a time. Right. So we want to prepare positive growth and development there. And why we want to put positive growth and development there? Because it's a program designed to accommodate the ones who have disciplinary problems.
Does this resonate with you? Has a company ripped you off in the past? SettleShark is changing how consumers get money back from companies. SettleShark assists consumers during the entire process, from beginning to end. Our process is simple, convenient, affordable, and powerful. You're in control. We are here to help you. Contact us today at www.settleshark.com or call 1-888-704-0708.
Alula Life Greens actually started for me when I was 23 years old. I went out and bought a $400 industrial juicer, and I started juicing every single week. And I hated it. It took so much time, it cost money, and it was a process. That's when I started making the Life Greens product. It truly is the one drink that you should take every day for the rest of your life.
My name is Amy, and I absolutely love fitness. I'm a licensed cosmetologist and a professional makeup artist. Eating healthy is not the easiest thing. We get so busy in our lives, it's really hard to take the time to eat healthy and to eat right. My absolute favorite thing about this product is that they combine reds, greens, and probiotics in one mix. You put it in your water and you shake it up and voila, it's so easy and it tastes amazing. You'll feel a difference. Then you start believing that you really can change and that you can actually feel better.
Hey man, your dog is super trained but mine never listens to me.
That's because I just signed up for a dog training course in the community app. It notifies you of all classes happening within a 10-mile radius and has many options. They've got literally everything from dog training classes to dance classes.
No way, you mean I can get my dog trained and learn dancing?
Yeah, install the app right now and see for yourself.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Tina Ramsay, the host of the Tina Ramsay Show and podcast powered by CTR Media Network. And we reach 350 million households worldwide, bringing you some of the most impactful stories of entrepreneurs and just standout individuals who are making a positive impact in the world. And today we are on site. Yes, on site in Columbia, South Carolina with an amazing entrepreneur. His name is Jeffrey Jones Sr., and he has an amazing project that he is doing in South Carolina that we really want you to know about called Tranquility, Transitional Housing. So, Mr. Jones, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
So, being from South Carolina, born and raised myself, I know all too well how things, I would say, we miss out on a lot of things being in South Carolina. And so when I saw what you was doing in regards to helping individuals that was incarcerated and once they get out of prison, having a solution to help them be better and have the resources and community, I was like, what? This is South Carolina? This is amazing. So what made you decide to start Tranquility Transitional Housing here in South Carolina?
Well, me myself, I've been incarcerated, and I had to go through a series of years in prison for a series of amount of crimes. But the thing that made me wanted to develop Tranquility is what I experienced while I was in prison. It was so many young men that I have came across because prior to going into program, I became a minister. Yes, I found Jehovah. I became a Jehovah's Witness, actually. And as a Jehovah's Witness, you know, we speak to every individual we come in sight with. So I had a lot of conversations in prison. It's a beautiful platform because you get an opportunity to talk to everyone, and almost everyone give you a chance because everyone looking for some kind of savior in some kind of way. And what I learned is that so many young men were deprived of life skills. They didn't have any life skills. And about 75% of them just didn't have any home bringing. They really, really raised up in the streets. Never been taught, you know, how to make a way. Most of them never had a job, ever experienced having a job. So this is what we have in prison right now. And the ironic thing about it all is when you go to prison, it's a difficult thing not to get a disciplinary. And these men in prison are not getting the opportunity to be programmed. Because if you get a disciplinary, you won't be programmed. So now this is very dire for what I say, our community, because these men are coming home, most of them. I met a lot of men back there with life sentences, and most of the life sentences, they are, you know, conducting programs back there. They are helping the men that are coming through that have a chance of going back out into the streets. But it's a sad thing that when you got 1,500 inmates in a prison and only 100 inmates get opportunity for programs. Wow. That's where the sad part comes. But 85% of those men are coming back into our society. Sad, because when they come back into society, the programs that they are developed out here for them is difficult for them to get into, especially when it comes to the transitional housing. And I take nothing from the transitional housing because they're doing a fine job in our state. But Tranquility is a different type of transitional housing. It's targeting high-risk offenders. And what I mean by that is these are offenders who did not have an opportunity to be transitioned in prison or corrected. Yes, our community are being deprived of what they need to be seeing when these men are being released. And that's correction, but too sad to say they are not being corrected. So Tranquility is preparing to meet them at the door. So we're going to be launching our campaign into the prison system. I was going to be working with a gentleman named Worth Cook, who's incarcerated at this moment, and who I truly believe is an innocent man for murder. But he's working with me. He's writing me, and he's going to try to get Tranquility started at Broad River Correctional Institution. Now, that's where the base is, I would say, right where headquarters is. Mm-hmm. And very, very high-risk inmates are there. These ones are put in the bottom, so to speak. That's a level 3 camp. And majority of those men don't get programming. They lock down for 23 and 1. They come out 2 times a week for showers, mm-hmm. And for recreation activities. And these 2 times they come out, it's only 1 hour at a time.
Oh, what?
Right. So we want to prepare positive growth and development there. And why we want to put positive growth and development there? Because it's a program designed to accommodate the ones who have disciplinary problems. Mm-hmm. I started that program. It was founded. I found that one back in 2018 at Water Correctional Institution, which was a level 1 and /2 camp. And it was I would say three major gangs associated there. And they were going through a series of disciplinary troubles. And so we just thought of the idea, that we should develop this program to have these high-risk offenders program, because they were going to be released within 8 and under. So most of them was going to be going home very, very soon and very, very quickly. So we wanted to get them programmed prior to going home. And so we had it sent off to the headquarters, and they approved the program.
Oh, well, let me ask you a question. When you say, I thought it was very riveting when you had said that over 1,500 like inmates,
Right.
but for programming, only 100. I mean, how does that even make sense? Like 1,500 people, 100 programming, and like we spoke before, it's very difficult for these inmates to be able to qualify, because they can have one strike, or you can say the proper terminology, and they disciplinary, and they will not be able to have the programming. So will Tranquility take those type of offenders if they're able to be acclimated back to society?
Right. Those are the ones that, yes, that's our target audience. We want to. Those are our primary clients. We want to take them in. I want to deal with them. I dealt with them inside for 13 years. So I want to do that also on the outside. So that's why Tranquility was born. And I know how to do it. Anyone can't do it. I will admit to that. If you haven't been through what I have been through, which is 29 and a half years of prison time, seeing and understanding ins and outs and why people are coming in and why they're not, why people get programming and why people don't, why they're not being educated, really understanding why they're not being educated. Because if they get a disciplinary, they can't go to school neither. Oh, wow. So they can't be educated. One of the greatest things I have saw in my last 2.5 years of incarceration is that they got this tablet for us, and they put programs on the tablet, and they allow every inmate to have it. But if you get a disciplinary, you also lose your tablet. So if you lose your tablet, then you know you're not going to get...
Is it easy to get a disciplinary?
Very, very easy, because you have controlling inmates. They are what you call big homies. They lead the crews, and a lot of the young men that coming in prison, they need protection, and they will join gangs. And if they join a gang, then they're going to be subject to go out and do whatever their leaders tell them to go do. But in the greatest part, you have the administration, which really it doesn't matter to them. It's a handful who really would like to see inmates change. Just a handful. Most of them, they rather see them housed. And if you just want to see inmates housed, then you are not going to make it possible for them to avoid disciplinary. You're going to make it easy for them to get a disciplinary, because it's best to have them locked behind the doors than to let them roam the rock. So, and the rock is, just being outside of the door, because you don't really go outside.
Really?
No, no. Sun up, you get a little of that. You don't go to most of them don't go to mess hall, so they don't go eat at the mess hall. Their food has been brought to them in the cells, so that deprives them of even going out there. They don't get any visitation if they got disciplinary. So it's terrible.
Wow. Okay, like that was a lot. The fact that most of these inmates do not receive visitations because of the disciplinary action, and then some of them, you even said they can't even go to the mess hall. So that, for those of you who may not understand that terminology, that's like a cafeteria where individuals can go and eat. They're basically locked in and what is like the dimensions of a cell?
It's a 6x8. It's a 6x8, 2 to 3 men in each one.
6x8 with 2 to 3 men in each.
Right.
Wow. So we really need tranquility. We really need tranquility, because you're thinking about how it is for, and excuse me for being so dramatic, when you lock up an animal in a cage and do not let them out, and you only feed them through the cage, right, and then you let them out in the midst of other people, what usually happens? Violence, turmoil. And so when you subject human beings who made a mistake in those conditions day in and day out, and you do not provide some sort of, like you call it programming, or I call them resources, and then you let them out to a world that they may not be familiar with. Say, for example, someone got incarcerated in the early 90s or the early 2000s with, I think we had like flip phones. The cell phone was just coming out, and now you're coming out with, I think they probably be accustomed to beepers, but now they come out, we have computers. Our cell phones is basically a handheld computer. We have all of this digital things that we have. We just have so much access. They need help. Because 9 times out of 10, if they don't receive the help that they need, they're going to reoffend. They're going to go back because they don't have support. And so what I thought was very interesting, and what I love about what you're doing with Tranquility Transitional Housing, is that you're providing a way out, and not necessarily for the ones who not offended. You providing that for the ones who I feel need it the most, is the ones who have maybe what you call a disciplinary. And they were not able to get this type of help and assistance in the prison, but now they have a place. So normally with programming or resources, they're only allowed to have it for a certain amount of time. After they graduate or after they get the certification or they complete whatever it is that you have them to do. Say, for example, they do that, they do very well, and then they go out in the real world by themselves, and then they get a little bumps and bruises, so to speak. Do Tranquility have a place for them to come back to?
Oh, yes. We definitely have a place for them to come back to. Once a member, always a member. We will be doing follow-ups with them, of course, too, when they graduate. Yes, we'll be going by, visiting. We'll be making phone calls and checking on them. We definitely tell each one before they leave that they can always come back, and do come back. Don't allow themselves to get caught up in the trend and thinking that they got to do something to survive, because we're there, and we're going to try to have some money in place for that, some funds that we can be able to accommodate them and get them back on their feet once again, just like we did in the first place. But it's not a dead end for them ever. And the reason for this is our community is the most important. Tranquility is, if that thought was in my mind, almost immediately, I remember when I first started going into the programming part. I thought the idea was good. The wardens were sitting there with us, and they were talking to us about it. And, they're asking us questions, what do you think about that? And we was like, yeah, because really our community is in trouble because these gentlemen are going home. That was one of the first things that I said to him. I said, I hate to think that a good person like you, because it was a social warden Hunter. Mm-hmm. He was the one. He was there then before he retired. And if I was saying, I would hate to for someone like him to be, plagued by what was coming. When he have so much concern for us when we was back there. He wanted to see us have change. He wanted us to be better men. He always tried to encourage us to do that. And that was one of the most prideful things I think I could ever think of. What would happen to the people in our society when these guys are rained out into it and they're poured out into our community. And I have grandchildren, and I was thinking about them too. What would happen to them, if they were subjected to that? So I don't want my grandchildren subjected to it. I lived a life of crime. Yes, I did. I was incarcerated. I was incarcerated as innocent one time. When I was incarcerated, very angry, got out. Didn't get it in programming because I got disciplinary troubles. I remember my first time. And didn't learn anything. Didn't get my GED. So yeah, I went right back to prison again. And then I made my mind up, that I was not going to be getting disciplinary at this time. What I was going to be doing was making my life as clear as I can, in view to everyone that I was going to be a man of God. And that's what I did. I started my, sentence that way. I end my sentence that way. Of course, I wanted to help so many others a few years into my sentence, and so I started the programming.
Wow. First of all, I appreciate you being so transparent, because what I want everyone else to see and understand, that even though you may have started out experience some negativity, especially with the system, and then you went back, you decided to make a change, and then you see all of these amazing things that you was able to do, and then you start thinking to yourself, and this is what shows a real character of a person, even though you may have done something in the past, but this shows the real character of who you was at the root of it, when you decided that you was going to help yourself, and then you was going to figure out how to help others. That is the true character. And so the fact that you started helping others, and you did it behind bars, and made a lot of changes, and used your life in order to help other people start getting curious, start want to figure out why you do what you do, and then also letting them know that they have hope at the end of the day. I feel that most the individuals incarcerated, like you said, the family connection is diminished. Some families go visit the ones that's incarcerated, and then some families choose not to. And then, like you said, it's very easy to get a disciplinary. So even if the family want to come see their loved one, they can go into a situation where a disciplinary action has been taking place, and therefore they're not able to see that loved one. So when we think about disciplinary, because I want to speak about that just a little bit more, say, for example, an inmate get a disciplinary, and they say, well, we're going to take away your tablet. You're not going to have the education. We're going to take away your family visitational privileges. Is that for like a month, or is that for like 2 months, or is that for a week, or just one time? How does that work?
Okay, the first time they suspend you for disciplinary problems, it's probably a 30-day suspension. And it all depends on what the disciplinary is. Now, if it's a minor disciplinary, yeah, you get 30 days. But if it's a major disciplinary, you 6 months from off top. You're gonna get 6 months disciplinary, and then you're gonna have to be 12-month disciplinary free.
Oh wow!
So you're gonna have to get past the 6 months, that they punish you for, and 6 more months before you get privilege back. Wow! So it's definitely it's gonna be 12 months, no matter what. 12 months. You're gonna to get the privilege back. You're gonna have to be disciplinary free for that long, and that is almost impossible. Mm-hmm. So, as it was for me, I was given the opportunity to wear a badge, and what I mean about that is a special badge that I could wear and go to the cells and talk to the gentlemen at their cells. So I've been able to do that for about 3 years when I was at Libra Correction Institution, And it was a unit called Ashley, and it was always locked down. It was very, very violent there. And so what I would do is I would go there and I would talk to them at the cell, and I would get the instructions from the wardens what they need to do in order for them to get some privilege, or what they need to do to get some privilege to be able to get out sometime and breathe a little. And I would go there and tell them they have to line their shoes under the bed, take the lines down. They make little lines across the cell so they can hang things up, block off the doorway, the window, so that they can't see inside and stuff like that. And they've been down for that. They kind of honored me when I was there, so they would listen and get a little privilege out, and then officers would come, of course, and do things they shouldn't do, and then they would rise up against them. I mean, they would treat them like they were any regular person, and literally hurt an officer real bad. And so when they do that, then I had the warden to agree that, because they had put cameras up, so agree if they see the perpetrators that they would, let them right back out. And we've been able to do that for a while. And we also fought in the system to get the disciplinaries back in 2019. I think it was 2019 2019, right before the pandemic, to get their disciplinaries exonerated.
That sounds great. And so, Mr. Jones, when I think about what you're doing, because you saw a problem, you created the solution even before you yourself got out of prison, and now you are duplicating that proven system outside so that other individuals can be able to benefit and have the support, the community and everything, because really Tranquility is going to become their family. And that is one of the main things that I see having that people, just don't have. They just don't have. And so Tranquility Transitional Housing, I want to thank you for founding it. And for individuals, I'm talking to you. Okay. So if you have a family member, a friend, and that it's coming up to their date where they are going to be released. Right now, currently in South Carolina, this amazing nonprofit is doing this, founded by the amazing Jeffrey Jones Sr., which is called Tranquility Transitional Housing. It's more than just housing. It's actually rehabilitating individuals that may have not been able to get the programming or resources available to them while they was incarcerated, and providing them a way out of positivity so that they can reacclimate in society and build a new life. Okay, they are not a lost cause, but we cannot, as a community, have all of these inmates coming out without resources, and they have been incarcerated for an extensive period of time. That is a problem that is in a recipe for disaster. And the fact that Mr. Jones has actually created something here in South Carolina, which we have one of the highest incarcerated rates in the world, like, to be honest with you. And you were saying about 80% or something of that, 85% is going to be released. And so think about all of that. Okay, our children, our children's children, our grandchildren, what's going to happen? Okay, if they do not have access, the key word is access to housing, access to resources. And so I am so happy that this is happening right here in South Carolina, and be able to give the ones in South Carolina a leg up, so to speak. And the fact that this is not something that is just for a certain period of time, but also for if they really need, like I say, a pick me up. Because let me tell you, this world is hard, even if you wasn't incarcerated. But if you was incarcerated and now you're out, that add a different factor, because now you have the judgment and all the, people prejudging you, and you're trying to make a difference. You're trying to change. And so where can individuals go or reach out to you guys for these services, or if they have family members that's coming out soon? How can they get in contact with you, and if you guys are launching soon and all of this good stuff?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Yes, we hope to be launching about the end of this year. Mm-hmm. We're currently right now waiting on funding so that we can have Tranquility built. It was actually a Tranquility I designed, of course. I drew the blueprint for it, and that's the one they say they was going to build.
Congratulations!
Yeah, so it's great. But yes, you can reach out with us. You can call us. What we doing right now is trying to help them get jobs. Mm-hmm. And of course, I want to sit and talk with them. Yeah. I want to definitely sit and talk with them and help them understand some things, mm-hmm. Right now. Mm-hmm. Let them know I'm here, mm-hmm. so they can call me direct. I want to give them that. But yes, we are currently right now we taking our mail at 1122 Lady Street. Mm-hmm. That's where all our mail go. And then you can call us at 844-656-8359. Mm-hmm. And then we would definitely get back with you, and so that we can have a meet. Yes, and we definitely were looking forward to helping those who are coming out right now. Mm-hmm. Even, though Tranquility, the building hadn't yet been established, but we do want to catch them now. Yeah. We want to sit down with them. We want to talk with them. We want to help them at this point, mm-hmm. With some transitioning. Mm-hmm. So yes, we do invite them to do that.
All right. And for those of you who would like to know more information about Tranquility Transitional Housing, you can go to ttthousing.net. That is tthousing.net. My nickname is TT, so that's why I got a little tickle. So go ahead and make sure that you check that out today. It explains to you their mission and why they do what they do. You will also be able to see members of their staff that is also front runners within the community here in South Carolina. And also, if you are a business, or if you are a business leader, just an individual in the community that would like to put support to this amazing initiative here in South Carolina, which is Tranquility Transitional Housing, they are accepting donations, because they're a nonprofit 501(c)(3), which means that your volunteer donations is a tax write-off. So if your heart is moved to make a donation towards the development of the transitional housing, you make sure that you reach out to Mr. Jones and a member of his staff so that they can speak to you about how you can make that donation possible for this amazing, much needed resource here in South Carolina. But as he already stated, you can also reach out to him with the number that he just mentioned. And for those of you who are transitioning right now, you're still not left behind. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Tina Ramsay Show. And you're going to be hearing more about this from Mr. Jones. This is just part one. Because listen, when you cut the ribbon for the building, we will be there, okay?
Yes, I'll be looking forward to it. I'm very excited about it. The men, they're all waiting too, because, I spoke with them prior to going out. I started Tranquility in 2020, mm-hmm. and, I've been out now for just 90 days. Mm-hmm. So that's years before I even hit the set. So they were anticipating me having programming, mm-hmm. and looking forward to coming. So I definitely can't wait. And can't wait to see you then, when we do cut that ribbon.
Yes, I am so excited. And thank you again for being a featured guest on our show. You guys, listen, this has been an amazing interview. And this hits to me home, because this is my hometown. This is my home area, South Carolina. And I know all too well the things that we lack in South Carolina. It's a lot of good things like hospitality, Southern hospitality. Yes, we have that, but most of all, we need these resources available so that we can help acclimate these men, women back into society so they can be productive. Many of them want to be productive, but they just need a helping hand. And so Tranquility Transitional Housing is taking your hand. So make sure to tune in and make sure to subscribe and make sure to follow and make sure to support this initiative here in South Carolina because it's amazing. Thank you, Mrs. Jones, for coming, and we can't wait to that ribbon cutting. All right, bye.
So at this time, we are welcoming author, podcast, businesswoman, coach, podcast influencer, Coach Tina Ramsay.
What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are. The media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above par. Never lasting, motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you're asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself, your health is here. We got it, reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR is who we are. The media network, that's the best by far, you know. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. Your health is here, we got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR is who we are. The media network, that's the best by far, you know. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network.